Secretary Clinton, I want to follow up on questions about the night of the attack and decisions made then. You wrote in your book, Hard Choices, that you were directing the State Department response the night of September 11th, 2012, but you also stated that you left your office on the night of the attacks and went to your home in Northwest Washington because you said you knew the next few days were going to be taxing and the department was going to be looking to you. I want to talk about a few things. Do you have a SCIF in your home?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and who else was at your home? Were you alone?
I was alone, yes.
The whole night?
Well, yes, the whole night.
Well, I don't know why that's funny. I mean, did you have any in-person briefings? I don't find it funny at all.
I'm sorry, a little note of levity at 7:15.
Well, I mean, the reason I say it's not funny is because it went well into the night when our folks on the ground were still in danger. So.
I did not send classified material, and I did not receive any material that was marked or designated classified, which is the way you know whether something...
From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
Contention now is the 2,101 emails contained information that should be classified at any time. That should be now or then. You're just saying it's not, shouldn't have been classified.
Well, what I'm saying is it wasn't at the time.
8 of those chains contained information that was top secret at the time they were sent. 36 of those chains contained secret information at the time.
I will reiterate, because it's a fact, nothing I sent or received was marked classified.
The FBI also discovered several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton to State in 2014. We found those emails in a variety of ways. Some have been deleted over the years, and we found traces of them on servers or devices that have been connected to the private email domain. Others we found by reviewing the archived government accounts of people who'd been in government employees at the same time as Secretary Clinton, including high-ranking officials at other agencies, folks with whom a Secretary of State might normally correspond. This helped us recover work-related emails that were not among the 30,000 that were produced to State. Still others we recovered from that painstaking review of the millions of email fragments dumped into the slack space of the server that was decommissioned in 2013. With respect to the thousands of emails we found that were not among those produced to the State Department, agencies have concluded that 3 of those were classified at the time they were sent or received, 1 at the secret level and 2 at the confidential level.
What kind of stuff was in those emails that he keeps harping on?
It was all personal stuff, and we've said that consistently. And as the FBI said, everything that I've said publicly has been consistent and truthful with what I told them.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true.
Secretary Clinton said I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
There was classified material emailed.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands.
Secretary Clinton said neither she nor anyone else deleted work-related emails from her personal account. Was that true?
There's no doubt that there were work-related emails that were removed electronically from the email system.
Chris, that's not what I heard Director Comey say. Director Comey said that my answers were truthful and what I've said is consistent.
She is taken through the Clinton Foundation and donations to the Clinton Library. I want to go through this slowly. Stay with me. If you start with Saudi Arabia, okay, $25 million up to that amount to the Clinton Foundation, $10 million to the Clinton Library. Women can't drive. They need permission to work or travel. Marital rape not recognized. If you're gay or lesbian, punishable by death.
I am talking about gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people. Some seem to believe it is a Western phenomenon, and therefore people outside the West have grounds to reject it. Human beings born free and given, bestowed equality and dignity, who have a right to claim that, which is now one of the remaining human rights challenges of our time. Being gay is not a Western invention. It is a human reality. This morning, back in Washington, President Obama put into place the first U.S. government strategy dedicated to combating human rights abuses against LGBT persons abroad.
If she takes their money, go to Kuwait, up to $10 million donated to the Clinton Foundation. Courts deny women the right to become public prosecutors and judges. No laws against domestic violence or rape.
Mary has a question on foreign policy.
What strategies do you plan to employ in dealing with the conflicts between women and children's rights versus the practices being utilized by some of our Middle Eastern allies?
Well, you know, I went to Beijing in 1995 and said women's rights are human rights and human rights are women's rights, and I believe that with all my heart.
Men have the legal right to beat their wives with physical violence. Marital rape is not recognized. Same-sex marriage is illegal. All sex activity outside of marriage is illegal, and women are often punished severely for adultery.
When I was Secretary of State, I put women's rights at the center of our foreign policy.
Then we go to Brunei. Money donated to the Clinton Foundation up to $5 million. Marital rape is not a crime, as the wife is not under the age of 13.
And I went to 112 countries for all of you. I raised it in every country. I looked across the table at dictators and authoritarians and chauvinists and sexists and misogynists. Yeah, I did. And I raised it with every one of them.
And if you're gay, those acts are illegal, punishable by up to 10 years in prison, in some cases death.
And, you know, I also raised gay rights. I went to Geneva and I made a speech about how gay rights are human rights, because the people who are often the most oppressed and mistreated right now in a lot of countries are LGBT members. So
Qatar, $5 million up to that amount to the Clinton Foundation. Marital rape not a crime. The law states that it's a woman's responsibility to obey her husband. A woman's consent is not required to legalize a marriage. Marital rape is not a crime. If you're gay, it's punishable by up to 6 months to 3 years in prison. Algeria gave, what, up to $500,000 to the Clinton Foundation. Marital rape not a crime. Married women under 18, they can't travel abroad without the permission of their husband. Homosexual activity is illegal, punishable by 2 months to 2 years in prison and a fine. And the Washington Post reports that many Middle Eastern countries donated over $1 million to the Clinton Foundation, as you can see up there on the screen. Now, I say all of this. She says she's the champion of women's rights and gay rights. And up until this week, she's never criticized the practices of these countries and took their money. How corrupt, you know, is that hypocrisy in your view?
You just gave a long answer, Madam Secretary, to Ms. Sanchez about what you heard that night, what you're doing, but nowhere in there did you mention a video. You didn't mention a video because there was never a video-inspired protest in Benghazi. There was in Cairo, but not in Benghazi. Victoria Nuland, your spokesperson at the State Department, hours after the attack said this: Benghazi has been attacked by militants. In Cairo, police have removed demonstrators. Benghazi, you got weapons and explosions. Cairo, you got spray paint and rocks. 1 hour before the attack in Benghazi, Chris Stevens walks the diplomat to the front gate. The ambassador didn't report a demonstration. He didn't report it because it never happened. An eyewitness in the command center that night on the ground said no protest, no demonstration. 2 intelligence reports that day. No protest, no demonstration. The attack starts at 3:42 Eastern Time, ends at approximately 11:40 p.m. that night. At 4:06, an ops alert goes out across the State Department. It says this: mission under attack, armed men, shots fired, explosions heard. No mention of a video, no mention of a protest, no mention of a demonstration. But the best evidence is Greg Hicks, the number 2 guy in Libya, the guy who worked side by side with Ambassador Stevens. He was asked if there had been a protest, would the ambassador have reported it? Mr. Hicks' response, absolutely. For there to have been a demonstration on Chris Stevens' front door and him not to have reported it is unbelievable, Mr. Hicks said. He said, secondly, if it had been reported, he would have been out the back door within minutes, and there was a back gate. Everything points to a terrorist attack. We just heard from Mr. Pompeo about the long history of terrorist incidents, terrorist violence in the country, and yet 5 days later, Susan Rice goes on 5 TV shows, and she says this: Benghazi was a spontaneous reaction as a consequence of a video. Started with you, Madam Secretary. At 10:08, on the night of the attack, you released this statement: some have sought to justify the vicious behavior as a response to inflammatory material posted on the internet. At 10:08, with no evidence, at 10:08, before the attack is over, at 10:08, when Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty are still on the roof of the annex fighting for their lives, the official statement of the State Department blames a video. Why?
I referred to the video that night in a very specific way. I said some have sought to justify the attack because of the video. I used those words deliberately, not to ascribe a motive to every attacker, but as a warning to those across the region.
I gave Hillary a hug and shook her hand, and she said, we are going to have the filmmaker arrested who was responsible for the death of my son.
So here's what troubles me. Your experts knew the truth, your spokesperson knew the truth, Greg Hicks knew the truth, but what troubles me more is I think you knew the truth. Also, on the night of the attack, you had a call with the president of Libya. Here's what you said to him: Ansar al-Sharia is claiming responsibility. And finally, and most significantly, the next day, within 24 hours, you had a conversation with the Egyptian Prime Minister. You told him this: we know, not we think, not it might be, we know the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. It was a planned attack, not a protest. State Department experts knew the truth. You knew the truth, but that's not what the American people got. And again, the American people want to know why. Why didn't you tell the American people exactly what you told the Egyptian Prime Minister? This email's at 10:35, 27 minutes after your 10:08 statement. 27 minutes after you've told everyone it's a video. While Americans are still fighting because the attack's still going on, your top people are talking politics. Madam Secretary, Americans can live with the fact that good people sometimes give their lives for this country. They don't like it. They mourn for those families, they pray for those families, but they can live with it. But what they can't take, what they can't live with, is when their government's not square with them. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
She made this statement not only to me, but to other family members. Also, a half hour after this happened, when they had the casket ceremony, she also lied to the American public because she said, and these are her words as best as I can recall, rage was directed at American embassies as a result of that awful video that we were not responsible for. So she said basically the same thing in private to the families that were grieving, and then a half hour later, She said basically the same thing as far as causation to the American public. She stood in front of my son's casket and blamed the rage directed at American embassies upon the video that she said we had no part of.
Charles Woods, thank you for your time out of Portland, Oregon today.
My name is Patricia Smith. My son, Sean, was one of 4 brave Americans killed during the 2012 terrorist attack at Benghazi. The last time I talked to Sean, the night before the terrorist attack, he told me, "Mom, I am going to die." All security had been pulled from the embassy, he explained, and when he asked why, he never received a response. Nobody listened, nobody seemed to care. The very next day, he was murdered by radical Islamic terrorists. I blame Hillary Clinton. I blame Hillary Clinton personally for the death of my son. Donald Trump is everything Hillary Clinton is not. This entire campaign comes down to a single question. If Hillary Clinton can't give us the truth, why should we give her the presidency?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
I know what Donald Trump is doing is representing the absolute heartbreak and anger and frustration at a government gone mad.
His children. I know his son Eric. I've met him a couple of times. He's a great kid.
They're great.
They're great kids.
Yeah.
You know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Issues. You have to take care of poor people that they're never going to have a shot. And you have to take care of African American youth who have never been in a worse position than they are right now.
This sounds like...
This is a movement. States are in play that no Republican has ever come close to winning. I think we are going to have an unbelievable November 8th. Got to get out and vote. Got to get out and vote. Thank you. So the people of the United States are truly, and you can see that by looking at this incredible crowd, ready for change. They're ready to discard a failed political establishment that disdains, disrespects, and looks down on hard-working, great people. This election is about a choice between the control of an arrogant ruling class in Washington, D.C. versus the hopes and dreams of everyday citizens. For years, our leaders have looked out only for themselves. You're really doing the good job. I'm the messenger. The message is a good message, though. It's a message of competence. It's a message of jobs, jobs, jobs. It's a message of fixing our military, which is so depleted, the greatest people on earth. It's a message of taking care of our great vets. They're treated worse than illegal immigrants, believe me, in many cases. It's a message of saving our Second Amendment, which is totally under siege. Violent crime is among the nation's highest. This is the catastrophe that does happen when we build up other countries instead of our own. We take care of everybody else. It's America first now, folks. America first. America first. It used to be, think of this, is this true? It used to be cars were made in Flint and you couldn't drink the water in Mexico. Now, the cars are made in Mexico and you can't drink the water in Flint. NAFTA has killed us, our stupid politicians have killed us, and we're gonna turn it around. We're gonna bring our jobs back, and we're gonna start protecting our people. Driving through the city, you see the shuttered homes and businesses, the dilapidated infrastructure, like you don't see anywhere. You don't see this in third world countries. This is the United States, and this is what our politicians have done to America. We can't stay the course. We have to do it properly. We can't keep doing it the way it's being done right now by our politicians. They're selling our nation down the tubes. Keep voting for the same people. You'll keep getting the same rotten results. Hillary Clinton calls people who aren't supporting her deplorable and irredeemable. Irredeemable. I call people who aren't supporting me, American citizens, who are entitled to the same respect as anyone else, and I will not stop campaigning for every last American vote in every last American city right up until November 8th. I'm not running to be president of the world. I'm running to be president of the United States of America. President Obama just announced a 30% increase to refugee admissions coming into this country, bringing the total. This was hard to watch this morning. Bringing the total to 110,000 refugees in just a single year, and we have no idea where they come from, folks. We don't know where these people come from. We don't know if they have love or hate in their heart, and there's no way to tell. But we can't let these people come into our country. We have enough problems. We have enough problems. And I have to tell you, Hillary Clinton wants a 550% increase over and above what President Obama has been bringing in. He's been bringing in thousands, and she wants to increase it by 550%. What is going on? What's going on? Instead of providing free health care and jobs to millions of refugees, we need to rebuild our inner cities and take care of our struggling Americans, and we have plenty of them, believe me. Our support comes from every single part of America and every walk of life. You are the cops and the soldiers, the mechanics and the accountants, young and old, black, white, Latino. You are moms and dads, children, grandparents. You're from cities small and large and in between. But above everything else, you are Americans, and we have to straighten out our country. American cars will travel the roads. American planes will soar the skies, and American ships will patrol the sea. And we're going to take care of our miners, and we're going to take care of our steelworkers. Remember that. We're going to take care of our miners. We're going to take care of our steelworkers. American steel will send new skyscrapers way, way, way into the clouds. American hands will rebuild this nation, and American energy, mined from American sources, will power our nation. American workers will be hired to do the job. We will put new American steel into the spine of our country. I will fight for every neglected part of this nation, and I will fight to bring us all together as one American people. Imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people under one God, saluting one American flag. It's time to break with the bitter failures of the past and to embrace a new, inclusive, and prosperous American future. Jobs will return, incomes will rise, and new factories will come rushing back to our shores. Once more, we will have a government of, by, and for the people. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.